Well, he helped lead the cultural revolution that took place that said no to transgender ideology for kids.
Capped. Tell me.
He got us out of NAFTA.
I'm asking for this term, but I'll take that. NAFTA, what else?
Haven't you seen any of the tapes about Nancy Pelosi talking about this in the 90s?
What the fuck does Nancy Pelosi in the 90s have to do with this?
It's 35.
Do you support Trump?
Yep.
Election held today. Harris versus Trump. Who would you rather vote for?
Trump.
Okay. Why do you support Trump?
But real quick, how come you always ask that question when that's like not going to happen in the future here? So you won't be on the ticket, neither will Harris.
Yeah, it's essentially get like an idea of like what someone would have done in retrospect, like if they regret their vote or if they still support Trump in the meantime. That's so like the best way to identify whether they currently still support Trump. Now, the reason why I still have that conversation is because we don't know who the next Republican nominee is, and it's going to be downstream of the MAGA movement. So individuals such as J.D. Vance and Marco Rubio.
Yeah, that's who I would think, and probably either Gavin or AOC.
It could be Gavin, AOC. It could be Buttigieg. It could be Ossoff. It could be a bunch of different candidates.
So if it was Rubio versus AOC, who are you voting for?
AOC for sure.
And if it was Newsom versus, JD, Newsom versus JD.
Newsom for sure.
You'd rather have Gavin nowhere.
I'd rather have Gavin Newsom over JD Vance. Gavin Newsom mogs JD Vance to death, bro.
Gavin nowhere. Like the bridge.
What is JD Vance's biggest accomplishment?
Vice presidents don't accomplish much, but hey, your manufacturing.
What
graph,
about a senator?
Right? That graph is real, but your
remember he was wait, sir, he was a senator as well. So what was his biggest accomplishment as senator?
He was a senator for like half a term.
Okay, so he's never done anything except for sit on the couch.
Well, he helped lead the cultural revolution that took place that said no to transgender ideology for kids. He was part of that movement. Kind of had a pretty big impact and changed the West, the way that the West thinks about the way we should live. What do you think about that?
I don't think he did. I haven't really heard him talk about it very much. So what has he said?
Yeah, because people don't talk about it anymore. It's pretty cool that's not on the every damn commercial and everywhere you look.
So you're glad that he got people to talk about it more by not talking about it. And it fading out of the conversation.
I think you've got like an inference problem because the same thing happened with your manufacturing argument. You used a real graph, but your conclusion was terrible. Right? That measurement measures factory buildings, not manufacturing. Structures are one slice, and you sold it like the whole pie.
So why did you manufacturing investment specifically? So would you like to tell me any evidence that you have for manufacturing investment increasing?
In what? Manufacturing investment in what?
Non-residential structures, manufacturing.
Structures. Yeah, that's the narrow slice that you took and sold as manufacturing as a whole.
Yeah, that's manufacturing infrastructure, sir. That's if you look up real manufacturing investment in the country and you look it up on Fred, that's what's going to come up, sir.
Yeah, so Parker, does that series measure manufacturing output?
It references investment. Output would be downstream of the investment, but output wouldn't be necessarily downstream of the investment that's happening right now, and it could be downstream of investment that happened in the past. Investment is going to be what's relevant towards creating jobs, structures, products. Investments are the basis for capital moving and for the creation of these jobs. Okay.
In structures, investment in structures, not just in manufacturing. Investment is much broader than just structures.
Yeah, but evidence that there's less money invested in structures is also evidence of less money within all those elements of manufacturing, as structures are a necessary element within the manufacturing process.
Okay. And is equipment an investment in manufacturing? A company that buys new equipment? Is that a manufacturing?
Yeah, if you'd like to show me any evidence of investment for manufacturing equipment increasing, I'd love to see.
Would
you like to find that?
I've got Federal Reserve saying the output has increased.
Yeah, that's
January
not the same as
26.
investment, sir.
We've got another increase in February. We've got
That's an output, not investment. And that output, I would say, is downstream. Oh, I'm lagging.
So when you say that structure investment is down, and therefore your conclusion is manufacturing is down, that's a failed argument. That's a failed logic.
Are we good now, everyone? It seems like we're lagging. Do you hear me?
I can hear you.
I feel like my internet is very much lagging right now. So I don't know what's going on. Give me 1 second, everyone. It looks like it's better. Looks like we're good now. We should be fine now. Okay, sorry. Continue with the argument.
Yeah, so here Bureau of Economic Analysis says that investment increased in Q1 of 2026 with gains in equipment, intellectual property, and inventories. Let's see, in Q4 of 2025, reported investment growth by that intellectual property. And private investment in intellectual property increased another 14% annualized in Q1, after increasing 5.4% in Q4 of 25. So all of those numbers make your argument lose its footing.
Wait, which number? Wait, you didn't tell me which specific thing increased in terms of investment. Because the intellectual property only goes up to 2024. That doesn't go to 2026.
No.
I'm looking at it right now. What you just said goes up to 2024 for real private fixed investment in intellectual property products, research and development, business manufacturing, semiconductor, and other electronic component manufacturing. That only goes up to 2024. That does not go up to 2026.
Where are you looking?
I'm on the St. Louis Federal Reserve.
Okay, why didn't you go to the BEA.gov?
Because this is where you can find it from the BEA. It's where they graph it for you.
Okay, I'm looking at it here. 2026 data at BEA.gov. Intellectual property at the top of the screen. Quarterly percent change from
what is the last
quarter.
year that it goes up to?
It's showing me 2026 data. I don't know what to tell you.
2026 data? Okay, what did you look up? Manufacturing investment? Or what is it?
Let me see if I can. Intellectual property. Search BEA intellectual property Q1 2026, Q2 2026.
Intellectual property. Bureau of Economic Analysis. That's just domestic investment into research and development. Okay. That's not just specifically looking at manufacturing investment and or accounting for inflation.
So, Bill, you can see that this is an indicator that shows promise in manufacturing.
Wait, no, not really. I mean, let me click on this. I'm not really seeing. Wait, I clicked on it. It doesn't show it. If you look at current release, so I'd have to click through and see because they have to account for inflation. That I have to also compare to prior days or prior years. Sorry.
I mean, I won't deny that there's, that your graph is a real graph, okay, as well. A lot of that spending was from, like you said, the CHIPS Act. Do you know who originally wrote that CHIPS Act?
It's a Republican and Democratic policy. It's bipartisan.
Yeah. Do you know who wrote it initially?
No, I don't.
It's John Cornyn in Texas.
No, wasn't it Tim Ryan?
I know that originally
from Ohio.
It came originally from two Republicans in Texas, and I know one of them was John Cornyn.
The CHIPS and Science Act, right?
Yes, and a lot of that language was preserved when it was ultimately passed by a Republican and a Democrat.
Who introduced it? Let me see.
So, and according to the same Bureau of Economic Analysis that you were citing in that structures graph, foreign direct investment expenditures in the United States increased from 49%, or increased 49%.
I see Cornyn was about a part of it. So Tim Ryan is the one who introduced it. A revised and expanded version under the CHIPS and Science Act. That's Tim Ryan is who introduced the version. But people who are part of the one in 2020 was Cornyn and Warner, which was a Democratic and Republican, but it was stalled in Congress under that year.
And then additionally, right, we had that foreign direct investment expenditures increase 50% in 2025. That's manufacturing. Manufacturing accounted for $121 billion of that.
And by the way, like when you cite things, you need to account for inflation, sir. Like that's just objectively the case. Like if you don't account for inflation on these things, that's gonna not be good data. Very much be good data. And also, like none of this is like a graph that you can have a comparative analysis of. This is just like one particular release of information. It's not even like the whole thing. If you look at like how do you feel about the real GDP growth? Do you think that's going very well for you guys? Because it's growing at a lower rate than what it was at the end of Biden's administration.
Yeah, I mean, there was massive stimulus in spending
at the end of Biden's administration.
Well, I mean, that's what most of the CHIPS Act was spending and manufacturing.
The CHIPS and Science Act was for manufacturing investment.
That's what I just said.
Yeah, so I don't know what you're trying to argue. That's
not, so I don't understand. So the money
like stimulus. What are you saying?
Okay, well, maybe we could define stimulus, but we're investing into manufacturing. Good, yes, we applaud this. That spending has now, run dry, and so you put a structures graph on the screen and say because the CHIPS Act spending is now done, therefore manufacturing is in decline. That's a terrible
manufacturing
argument.
Investment. It's a fact. If you don't want to acknowledge that manufacturing investment relating to the structures has declined every single quarter of Trump's administration, you don't have to acknowledge that.
That's not the fact that I'm debating with you. It's your conclusion.
Yeah, what's the conclusion that you're disagreeing with?
Structures spending down, therefore manufacturing down.
This is the best metric for manufacturing investment.
And how did you come to that to be the best?
Yeah, it's literally what comes up at the top for the Bureau of Economic Analysis and the St. Louis Federal Reserve, right? If you look up real manufacturing investment and you scroll through, you tell me which one's a better reference, because I'm looking at all of them right now. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, we talked about several of them already. Equipment. We talk about corporate planning.
Which one is equipment on the St. Louis Federal Reserve? Where?
I don't care. So why are you so fixated on the St. Louis Federal Reserve?
Because that's where you can click and see the graphs for it. It's like it's a categorization of economic data.
So because
and why am I? Let me tell you. I got an economics degree, and they told us where to find economic data. This is a place where we went to find economic data, not only just for fun or just for looking at it, but literally so that we can put the data right into our program, right? And we can run different analysis on the data. Sure. So I've dealt with this data before. I know what we're referencing. I would love to hear what manufacturing investment data you're referencing that you think is preferable. Output is not reference to investment. You said we're bringing back investment to this country. I'm citing investment.
Talking about manufacturing.
In order to be able to change output, you have to have investment.
Don't do that, Parker. I'm talking about your conclusion. You said because investment is down, therefore manufacturing is down. And I'm saying manufacturing is not just investment. I said manufacturing investment is down.
That's what I said. That was my conclusion.
In structures.
That's what you said. My conclusion was about investment, not output.
Your conclusion is about manufacturing.
Yes, manufacturing investment, sir.
Okay. Now, you can measure manufacturing through structures, output, or employment, or productivity.
You tell me which R&D, ones that you would rather cite from the St. Louis Federal Reserve, or you tell me where I can see this data.
Spending. We could talk about foreign spending. We could talk about new orders.
Then show us.
Shipments, or exports, or imports.
Then show us. Show me where I'm wrong. I'll wait. Okay. Alrighty, give him a second to find this information, everybody. It looks like it's going to take him a while. Give him a minute, everyone.
What do you want me to find for you?
What were you just quiet for? Weren't you looking at? I thought you were looking it up.
Looking what up?
What were we just talking about, sir?
Manufacturing, and how your conclusion about investment in structures means that that is declining, that manufacturing is suddenly like failing under Trump.
I'm saying manufacturing investment has declined. If you would like to provide me a different metric for manufacturing investment declining, I'd love to see it.
No, the metric that you put up is a true and honest metric. That is a fact, Parker.
So can you provide me your basis for saying that manufacturing investment has increased and saying that I'm wrong?
I'm not saying that manufacturing investment has increased. And I'm glad that we've stopped spending money that we don't have.
Trump signed off on more debt-related spending. You know that, right?
Yeah, they do every freaking administration.
Trump signed off on $4 trillion more debt-related spending than the Biden-Harris administration.
So he's basically a liberal. He basically spends like a Democrat. So why do you guys hate him so much?
He spends more than the Democrats, genius.
He spends like a Democrat.
He spends more than the Democrats, and mainly for tax breaks for millionaires and billionaires.
So why do you guys not like him? He spends like you guys.
Because he's giving the money to tax breaks to millionaires and billionaires rather than redistributing the wealth to people who are in need, who need healthcare, childcare, housing affordability, right? Basic necessities. It's where his priorities are for who he's helping that the problem is.
And you guys are going to solve these problems, huh? With trickle down. So if politicians
we don't support trickle down, you guys do.
If politicians sell the same promises every election year and never deliver them, eventually the problem is not just the politician, right? At some point, the voter, you guys need to ask why they keep buying the same promises. Because
you bought Trump saying no new wars. Name 3 promises Trump made he kept. Tell me.
He got us out of NAFTA.
I'm asking for this term, but I'll take that. NAFTA, what else? 3 things.
Let's see. Well, of course, he promised to try and bring more balance to our trade agreements.
That is incredibly vague. Give me a promise he made that he kept.
That is one. Why don't you like that one?
There's no evidence he's made the trade deficits less prevalent. Would you like to provide a source for that? Trade deficits or trade agreements? Trade deficits, because you said the trade deficit was the problem, right?
No, well, the problem is that countries will close their markets and tariff our goods, and we don't do any of that on our end. They could just come and play in our playground for free.
What? You know that when we place tariffs on a different country, that we pay the tariff? Listen. You know that when we place a tariff on a different country, we pay the tariff. The American importing business pays it, and then it's passed down mostly to the consumer in the U.S.
Yes, I understand that. But why do other countries have tariffs on their products? And why do other countries put limits in their markets? And why do they protect their markets? And why is it bad for us to do the same?
I have no issue with targeted tariffs. I have an issue with universalized tariffs. What country put universalized tariffs on us? You tell me.
Well, Canada protects its
Name a single country that put
all countries do that.
Name a single country that put a universalized tariff on us.
Universal, that's beside the point.
No, it's not. That's what Trump is advocating for. It's not targeted tariffs that are reciprocal to reduce the tariffs. It is specific. Yes, it is. He said universal and blanket tariffs. Yes, he did. You don't even know what you're talking about. What do you mean he never said universal tariffs? That was his main policy for tariffs.
But these are negotiations and things.
Oh my God, you're ridiculous. What do you mean he didn't argue for universalized tariffs? Pay attention. What are you talking about?
Okay. Well,
don't say that so confidently. Why are you so confidently wrong?
What about the Democrats who promised to do something about the trade imbalance and never did? And here's Trump.
What Democrat?
Taking a swing at it.
What Democrat ever said that? You tell me. Name the specific. Tell me what specific Democrat.
And here we want to whine and cry about it.
Hey, in moderation, what specific Democrat said that?
Haven't you seen any of the tapes about Nancy Pelosi talking about this in the 90s?
What the fuck does Nancy Pelosi in the 90s have to do with this?
This is how long that they've
She's not even a presidential candidate, sir. She's not even in politics. She's leaving politics.
Yeah, Democrats have come a long way. They used to think that, sending out our jobs to China was a bad thing. They used to think that immigration was a bad thing, that there were too many people coming here. Obama, there's
I don't give a fuck I don't give a fuck what Nancy Pelosi said in the 90s. What relevance does that have?
Trump is saying it now. You guys are like swearing against it. You've switched sides. You've jumped ship. But That's just how it is.
You reach back to the 90s about some random policy position she had at the time that I didn't even know about. No one knows about. No one cares about, right? As a means to discredit Democrats today. Like, what type of stupid shit is that?
Hey, you want to hear a joke?
What? What's the joke?
All right. So basically,
yourself.
Prison, right, is basically the extreme.
Are you just going to say your own name?
So why don't liberals just like to be in prison here? Because you get free housing, you get free food, you get free healthcare, you get government-funded education, you get standardized closing, everything.
Tell me why
you
you
can have your
same-sex relationship. How about this?
You can have your same-sex relationship.
Watch this.
Just go be in prison.
Watch this. Okay. Tell me why you're okay with giving convicted murderers, pedophiles, and the worst of the worst people in our prisons more than you're willing to give poor people in this country. You tell me why you want food for pedophiles and for murderers, but you don't want it for children in schools. Tell me why you want housing for people in prison who are pedophiles and murderers, but you don't want housing for people living on the street who are just poor.
I want free housing for all you guys, for all the liberals. You can all go to prison. You can all get
That's more expensive. Why would you want to send people to prison? Wait, hey, dude, this is so fucking stupid. What? Prison is more expensive than to just pay for people's rent, right? In cheaper areas where you can get rent. I'm not trolling. You could literally have a federalized program where you spend significantly less paying for people to have rent and live in their own apartments, their own individualized apartments, for less money than you would spend on imprisoning them. Imprisoning people is extremely expensive, okay? And you're willing to spend so much money on people in prison, but not on people who are poor. Genuinely think about that. You're willing to feed murderers and pedophiles. You're willing to house murderers and pedophiles, but you're not willing to provide housing and food for poor people in this country? That's too expensive for you? Come on, bro. You literally just boasted about how you think it's preferable for liberals or poor people in this context to literally go to prison over just being poor. That's what you just tried to argue, you fucking lunatic.
Yeah, sure. That's what I just tried to argue.
Yeah. That is exactly what you just tried to say. Is that not what you just tried to do?
Yeah.
Someone can't respond intellectually, can you?
No, you just didn't get my joke. You didn't like it very much. It kind of triggered you a little bit.
I said it didn't make sense. So you weren't serious at all with that position? Because I think you were actually saying that position.
No, I don't know if you even caught the joke now.
What was the joke?
Yeah, that prison is like the ideal world that liberals are talking about. They get their free healthcare, their free housing, they can have their same relationships.
I like how he thought that was like a own against liberals, but really that's an own against you guys being unwilling to give it to normal people, but to instead give it to criminals.
Is calling it progress.
Wait, the fact that you can't realize that you're okay with giving it to people in prison, but not giving it to poor people is crazy. That was a criticism of your own perspective, not of mine.
Yeah, you got an inference and conclusion problem. Same thing as a reoccurring theme with your manufacturing investment in structure.
You failed. What was your source? What's the other investment for manufacturing that you're saying went down or went up? Where?
Yeah, R&D, R&D, equipment.
No, what's the source?
BEA.
The BEA does not say that specifically for real private investment relating to those things.
Yes, I'm sorry, Parker. It does.
No, it doesn't. If you look up real business investment as a whole, not even specifically just looking at manufacturing, and you compare the last year and a half under Biden to the first year and a half under Trump.
Why are we running from manufacturing? Why are we changing scope here in the middle of this?
Because I gave the most reflective answer of manufacturing already. You have yet to cite anything. Yeah, you have yet to cite anything of actual substance. You're just claiming things without an actual citation. Okay?
So if manufacturing itself were collapsing in the way that your rhetoric is implying, you would expect the production data to reinforce that story. Output downstream, like you're talking about. Wouldn't you?
Not necessarily, because output could be downstream of investment that existed prior. Because there were massive increases in investment under the Biden-Harris administration. So you're reaping the benefits of Biden's administration right now, while negatively impacting the conditions, right, because of Trump's policies.
On policy that was written by John Cornyn.
No, this was policy written by Tim Ryan, genius.
No, it was written by John Cornyn.
Wrong. That was a 2020 policy That's different than the revised version that existed through Tim Ryan in
Oh
2022.
yeah, well,
Genius.
you know what they did? Yeah, this is the revision. They took the policy that John
they
Cornyn
revised
wrote,
the other one.
and
The other one was again
they crossed out John Cornyn's name, which actually they really didn't because his name's still on it, and they just added their name, and that was called the revision.
No, there were different revisions, and also that one didn't get enough votes in 2020, but it did under 2022 under Trump's admin, or Biden's admin.
Yeah, then tell me what the revisions were, Parker.
Do you want me to go and find the provisions that were different? Like, bro, that's such a dishonest argument to say that there was no change when it was designated as a revision. Of course, there's going to be changes in negotiation.
Is it unfair for me to ask you to back up your claim with evidence?
I said it's because it's downstream of it being revised. Like, for example, I wouldn't be able to tell you the difference in the bipartisan immigration negotiations, right, under the Biden administration as opposed to what existed under Trump. That doesn't mean that there wasn't changes in the negotiation. Of course there were changes, yet you might not be able to specifically clarify what those changes are because we're not the ones engaging in said negotiation, sir.
The increase in investment in Q1 2026, increase in equipment, intellectual property products,
Can you tell me what a revision
inventory investment that were partly offset by decreases in residential and
non-residential. Sir, can you tell me what a revision is?
A change?
Thanks for the concession. Get fucking destroyed. Yeah, get fucking destroyed. You just said, explain to me how it changed after acknowledging it was revised. You just defined revised as changed, genius.
And that proves what exactly about how Tim
that proves that you think it
changed in the
that
language.
That proved that it changed by definition of it being revised. Oh my God.
What changed about what John Cornyn put onto paper then he started the CHIPS Act back before the Democrats got their hands on it and threw their name on it.
It was revised. So by definition it changed. I don't need to name the specific revision in order to know that it was revised.
So technically, under your
you already conceded. Wait. Was it revised?
On your argument,
was it revised?
3 words. They could have changed 3 words, and it's technically revised.
Was it revised?
And therefore, it's changed.
Was it revised?
Yeah.
Does revised mean changed?
Holy shit! Are we? Is this where we are? Is this the kind of intellectual prowess that you like to demonstrate, Parker?
Oh yeah, because you're so stupid. We have to go very slow for you. We're caveman Parker right now with you. Yeah.
Yeah, and you're so stupid that you took a little slice of manufacturing investment in structures and made a theory about.
And you have yet to provide a better reference for manufacturing investment.
Or is that just your dishonest?
Hey, how about you provide your reference for manufacturing investment? Otherwise, stop complaining and crying. Can we get some baby bottles for this guest that's throwing a temper tantrum because he can't provide an alternative source for U.S. manufacturing investment within the country that he could actually cite on the stream?
I've been using one source this whole time, Parker. It's BEA.
Yeah, you have to tell me what specifically on the BEA, sir. And you have to provide the article.
I've told you. You're just here for performance and for theatrics.
I'm not just here for performance.
And you love seeing those baby bottles. You know, we got a little baby Parker up
yeah,
there.
I love triggering Trump supporters like yourself to throw temper tantrums so I can see baby bottles in the chat. I do.
Yeah.
You're a little baby, dude. Genuinely.
And here I've answered your critique as well.
You haven't. I'm waiting. What's the source?
What's
the title?
But you can't hear it, right? And you certainly can't type these things because I've got no sources at the BEA that say equipment, intellectual properties, and inventories all have increased in Q1 of 2026. I rest my case. You have a great day.
You're gonna run away now? And by the way, you're not even looking up manufacturing equipment.
No, I just concluded and won the argument.
He's just looking up equipment as a whole. Not even manufacturing equipment. So look up. Wait, so what's the title of the manufacturing equipment source?
Dude, if you go to the Bureau of Economic
Analysis. I said the title, genius.
If you type into Google,
I understand.
Q1,
I already
2026, looked. Equipment, BEA, it's going to fucking take you there. You know this. Why are you playing stupid?
Why are you playing stupid? If you look at real gross domestic product, electrical equipment, appliance, component, and manufacturing, you know that it only goes up to 2024. This is how I know that you don't know what you're talking about because the data you just cited only goes up to 2024. You don't know
how to research. You just don't know how to research. I guess you stop when you find a number that you like. Or when you...
The data that you're referencing isn't even updated until September 30th, 2026, genius.
Wow. Somehow I'm looking at it on the BEA's website.
So tell me, what's the title?
So apparently you've got some limitations in your researching skills.
What's the title?
But I wish you the best, Parker. Take care, my friend.
Run away, buddy, because you know you fucking lost. Get cooked. Genuinely, bro. So embarrassing. I'm like, so many runners today that are childish that won't provide source. I ask them for a single source that proves their point, and they crash out. Like, every Trump supporter crashes out when you ask them a simple question. What's your source? That's it. That's all you have to do, and they crash out. Yo, it's about you?